Hiya guys, it's Scotty here. I guess it's a bit of a plea for help. I've been mucking about with this front panel pretty much on and off since Monday morning. You can see it's about 15 different shades of grey. I've still got some highs, although you can't, well, say you can't feel them, but you can't feel them. The dark grey is an etch primer. There's a slightly lighter grey which is a high build primer, and there's a standard primer on top, and as you can see I'm struggling like anything to get it level. The car is just curves everywhere. There's not a single straight panel. Whether that's what's causing me a hassle and maybe I'm using the wrong tools or what, I don't know. Just to show you, I started off using that, which is like a fairly flexible. It's quite stiff and it's quite dense, but it's flexible. This one's a bit softer. And with 320 grit, excuse me, wet and dry. I got it to originally where I thought it was level, and then guide coated it and then rubbed it down in it, and I could see obviously really quickly that it was all over the place, and I've basically put on and took off about 750 mils. Well, I put on a lot of filler and took a lot of filler off again. There's a lot of filler in the Hoover, filler dust. So what am I doing wrong? There's something I'm doing wrong. Is it because am I just pressing too hard? I don't know. Am I expecting to get it too flat or too level? I don't know, I'm doing something wrong, I think, obviously. Should I just cover the whole bloody panel in filler and try and rub it down again? I don't know, something. If anybody, any of you kind experts can help me out and tell me what I'm doing wrong, I'd be much obliged. It's 9 o'clock on Wednesday now, and I don't know what to do. Basically, where this panel was obviously the one that got hit, this front panel has been knocked out a lot. I did knock a load of the highs down back in. Well, I reckon I still got a few highs, but I don't know what to do really. If you chaps got some advice, then if you could let me know, that'd be brilliant. Thanks very much. Bye. Morning everyone. It's 8:30 on Sunday morning. I think it's about the 1st or the 2nd of September. I'm not really sure. One of them dates. One of those dates. I had a day off yesterday. Went painting dear old mother's porch, back porch. So had a day away from the car. Where I'm up to with this, after getting all the guys' suggestions, immediately changed the grit of the paper. I think what it boils down to, trying to work this out how to say it, is I think I expect it to come right too quickly. Does that make sense? So rather than having the patience to sort of stick with it, and so what I was effectively doing, like Neil was saying, playing the Bondo game, which is absolutely spot on. I've put on a whole tub of filler and knocked it all back off again, trying to get that trying to get it level, but I was doing it the wrong way round. So where I'm at now is I've got it. Sorry if I've wandered around. Got it somewhere like I think that it feels close. I could feel with my fingers that it's got highs in the filler, etc. The other thing I was doing, which was really stupid, and it's another failing of mine, is not reading the instructions. I've got some Max Meyer stopper, this 3300 stopper, and it clearly says on the instructions to leave it. I think it's well, anyway, it's a good couple of hours before trying to sand it, and because I wasn't doing that, it was getting a skim on the top, then I was going and trying to hit it with the sand and just screwing it up. So I'm gonna take a big deep breath, take the time, and we'll just take the time now, be more patient, not expect to get it there. Anyway, what was I saying? So stopper, which is this stuff. Also went and bought that. So you know, if this stuff isn't any good, I know you're probably not supposed to put product placement or whatever on the tube, but if that stuff's not up to scratch, then let me know if you could. So have a chooch. Where I am, where I've got to now, is I kind of got it where I think it's close. Run some rattle can primer over it, and you can probably see, I don't know if you can see it, but it's still got highs and lows in it. So I've put some guide coat over it, and all I'm going to do now, very quickly or slowly, I'm going to try and take my time, is with the 800 grit, wet and dry. That's the other thing I was doing. I had it stuck in my mind that I don't know why, but I had it stuck in my mind that you could put some filler down. Oh, wobbling around, sorry. And put the guide coat on, and then bring it all down, and then keep going until you've got rid of all the guide coat. Well, that's why I ended up with, rather than stopping, it's like breaking through the paint and then seeing the metal, but right by the side of it's high, so I want to keep going, and that's what I've got to stop myself doing. I've got to remember that it's the guide coat's doing its thing, and everything's doing its thing, and I've got to stop, not keep going. So that's what I'm gonna have a go at this morning, see if I can actually teach myself to stop, and if I've got to add a bit more filler or stopper, then that's what I've got to do. So I've got the whole day. I can, if I take my time, take a deep breath, I've got a big pot of coffee, so by the end of the day hopefully I've got it right. But I suppose it's almost like using the primer as a guide coat as well. If I break through the primer into other stuff, then I've got to stop as well. So anyway, hopefully I'll show you some better results later. Alright, catch you later. Okay guys, so I've basically stopped a lot earlier than I would have done before, and I don't know if this camera's going to focus on this or not, but you can see the guide coat's doing its job. I broke through on the edges like a buffoon, but yeah, so what I'm going to call this is BM, like you got BC and AD, This is BM. Before Milrick, I would have kept going and kept going until I got rid of all the black, which is obviously now, and now I know, the stupidest thing to do. So there's a little pinhole there, or a little dent there, a little ding. It did start breaking into the primer there, but I've stopped. Got something going on there, which I think may be a run. Don't know if you can pick that up, but anyway, so BM, I would have kept going until I got rid of most of the black, which is now I know. I mean, I can see scratch marks here now. One thing I wonder whether what may have been some of the cause, other than the fact that I was taking all the filler back off, is the way I was putting the filler on in the first place. I was getting an effect, if I can show this any sense, a bit like that, sort of angled, because I was putting the filler on. I don't know, typical filler scraper, whatever we call it, because it's too wide to go there. So I was putting it on like this, which of course was making that effect, and I wonder if that's something to do with it. The other thing, you're always told you've got to use a backing pad of some description, and I showed you these before. But this is just a piece of foam that comes from some packing. You know, I'd obviously like to buy some stuff, but I guess it's a money thing. Maybe I'm a bit tight, I don't know. But I was thinking that it's pretty soft. But I wonder if just the fact that it's just not soft enough was also giving me some edges, you know. It was sort of digging in, maybe. So now I've done it with just my palm of my hand, like that. So I can seem to feel the panel better. Anyway, so now I'm gonna now I've got that, I'm gonna put some stopper in and then leave it alone for a couple of hours. So I'll go off and muck around with another panel. I was stuck in my head that I want to do a panel at a time. Of course, doing it that way means either you go in and have lots of tea breaks, coffee breaks, or you do what I do and get frustrated and just get into it too early. The other thing I noticed I was doing was I can show you, but where I was getting too early on the primer and stuff, it was just pegging up my sandpaper, and it turns out I haven't got any 800 grit after all. I've only got 600 is the highest, or the finest grit, so I could get myself some finer grit paper. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I'll put my stopper in, and I'll have a go at getting the paint off the side instead, and give myself something else to do for whilst I'm waiting. Alright, catch you later. Or some of you guys do. So I guess I didn't take it that seriously, but it's definitely backfired, and I'll show you why. Not necessarily the paint system, but certainly the sort of stuff I've been using. Just before this video, you'll have seen something getting close to the finished product of what I thought on the front of this car. And here's the latest. So basically what happened, I got it so it's nearly there, and there was a couple of low spots, so I used the stopper that I showed you. After reading up on it, that it should be left for a good 3 hours to harden or to dry before sanding it, so did all that, but I actually left it probably 6 hours because we ended up going out. Came back, rubbed my hand over it a bit, a bit like that, and my nail caught in it and tore it. So I thought, well, hang on this bit, and sort of kept rubbing away at it, and it had gone into everything below it. So I basically scraped right down to the bare metal, through the filler, through everything. It made everything below it soft. So it's just the wrong stuff, so today, someone else has given. I'll remember his name in a minute and put it on the when I upload this. But I apologise, I've got a memory like a blooming sieve. So today, in the view of trying to keep the system together, I've got 2 cans of this. There's 2 litres of this Lecturer primer filler primer with its hardener that goes correctly with it. This is a bit of an odd name, but a tube of glaze. I've downloaded the sheets that go with it. You can get off the internet really easily, which I'm going to follow. Exactly. Tells me everything about it. Both the primer and the sealer glaze. So no excuses. This primer is called a sealer filler. 2-pack high solid polyacrylic, chromate free. So I really hope that's the right stuff that I need to be using. It tells me exactly what the substrate should be like. So no excuses now. No mucking about anymore. This is it. I've wasted a whole week nearly. Well, I have wasted a whole week by, I guess, ignoring the good advice. So there's no excuse. Knifing nitro acrylic putty, what the hell that means, but there you go. So that there is going in the bin, in the trash. Can't be trusted. So that's my base coat, or my primer. This is the stuff I've already painted the underneath of the car, the floor underneath, so that matches. I'm not sure about whether it's just I don't know how it works, but whether it's just a spurious label that gets put on all their tins, I don't know. But anyway, the local place that we buy our paint from, that's what they sell. So the thinner and hardener go with it, and I believe the thinner also works the same if I need it for the primer. The only thing that doesn't match, but they assure me is compatible, extremely compatible, is this etch primer. I'm only gonna pretty much spot prime the etch primer, so this, where there's rusty bits. So that's that. The other thing I did buy, Neil suggested, because of my heavy-handedness of with the after Milrick was saying about playing the Bondo game, I get exactly what he's talking about. I really do, and I see what he's saying. So I've gone out and I've got some 800 grit. So a pack of that. Something I was a bit of a, I don't know, a bit of a folly. I don't know. Thought I'd try it. Little kit, very very cheap, nasty, but give it a little test run at work, and it really works well. I was surprised. It doesn't. The idea is you're supposed to, it's a spot blaster, so you're supposed to put it up against a panel where the spot of rust is, and it's supposed to bounce back down and into the bag. It did work up to a point. You need to help it a little bit with your hand around to make a seal, but the other thing was sanding of my curves. Been watching videos, and I understand that I need to be sanding a particular way. So I've got this. The paper tucks into the slot nicely and will be held nicely. So it's quite stiff, but flexible at the same time. If that makes any sense. So I presume I'm supposed to be sanding in that sort of fashion. So I'm rolling the paper and rolling the block, but it's just back here again. It's just going to be this bit here that's just going to be the bugger, to be quite honest. It's curved that way and that way at the same time, and then the only way I can do that section from there to there is by hand with my palm. Nothing else seems to work. But a little bit nervous about this pitted stuff. It has been treated, but now it's off. I'm going to try the little spot blaster in it and see what happens. Whilst I was waiting for that yesterday to dry, I did take some paint off the back corner, this back edge. So this has got some real nasty pitting in it. Not nasty deep, but it's quite widespread. So I thought I'd give it a try on there as well. So that's the story so far. So yeah, hopefully I'll actually start listening to what people tell me, and because this side came out quite pretty good. It's just good, but I didn't have to use any glaze that side. It's just this side. I think it just melted whatever was underneath it. It seemed to and caused a mess. So like I say, I'm going to do what people say. Hopefully do as I'm told, and hopefully I'll get a result. So fine, I'll sign off from now and have another go. See you later. Well, the spot blaster seemed to work. Well, this bloody camera won't focus. Maybe do it. Anyway, you'll have to take my word for it. It's got does seem to have got right into the pits quite nicely. So, well, hopefully. But as for collecting, maybe I wasn't doing it properly, but as for collecting all the sand, well, it's not as bad as I was expecting, but I've got a fair old clean up. Just for a few minutes I was using it on just those bits. So. But anyway, wish me luck. Filling time. The only thing I did think about was I'm going to use a much narrower spreader. What I've done with it, basically I've got one of my other spreaders and cut it in half, so I've got a much narrower spreader. So I'll see what it looks like after I've done that. Alright, see you in a bit. Okay, last video of the night. Basically put filler over the whole lot again. I can't seem to get it to sit on there smooth. Maybe that comes with practice, I don't know. I end up spending loads of times keep playing with it and keep playing with it and keep playing with it. Not seem to making it any smoother. So anyway, I'm going to leave that for tonight completely. It's nearly gone off, but anyway, yeah, I can't stop fiddling. But leave that to go off tonight, and then I've got these I'm going to use tomorrow. I've got some 80 grit. That says woodworking paper, but it seems to work on that alright. Maybe I'm badly wrong again. Or some 60, and then some 240, and then it'll be down to that 800 grit, wet and dry. So anyway, wish me luck. Hopefully I get the hang of it, and I'm not spending out until nearly Christmas here on the same piece. So I suppose it's practice. Alright guys, catch you later, bye bye.